When my aunt swiped my wedding venue, I bided my time for 2 years and secured her daughter's dream location before she could. When I got engaged to Ethan, I was ecstatic. We'd been a couple since our university days, and I'd been envisioning our wedding for ages. Ethan proposed on the same beach where we had our first date, dropping to one knee as the sun dipped below the horizon. The ring was stunning, a vintage emerald that once belonged to his grandmother, precisely the unique style I preferred over a standard diamond. My heart was set on Willowstone Hall, a breathtaking historic estate with gardens that seemed plucked from a storybook. The venue boasted grand marble staircases, chandeliers sourced from Italy, and lush gardens that bloomed year-round in temperature-controlled conservatories. The ballroom featured towering windows overlooking a serene lake, and couples could exchange vows in a garden gazebo that felt like a scene from a classic romance film. It was booked solid for 2 years, but I'd been calling monthly since Ethan's proposal, hoping for an opening. The coordinator, Mrs. Langley, began to recognize my voice. "Still aiming for September, dear?" she'd ask warmly. "September 15th, specifically," I'd reply each time. "It's the anniversary of our first date." Finally, 8 months before our desired date, they called. A couple had canceled their September wedding after a messy breakup. The groom had been unfaithful with the maid of honor. They had one slot open, September 15th, exactly what I wanted. I shrieked so loudly that Ethan rushed in from the kitchen, still clutching a spatula from flipping pancakes. "We got it!" I cried, tears streaming as I spoke to Mrs. Langley. "We'll take it." "Wonderful, dear," she said. "I'm thrilled this worked out for you. You've been so diligent." I immediately paid a $5,000 deposit using the credit card Ethan and I had reserved for wedding costs. We'd been living frugally for months, splitting grocery bills, skipping dinners out, to save every cent. That night, I called my mom to share the news. This was the venue I'd dreamed of since I was 12 when I attended my cousin Sarah's wedding there. I'd wandered the grounds that night, picturing my own future wedding. "Oh, sweetheart, that's amazing," my mom said, her voice brimming with joy. "Have you told the family yet?" I called everyone that evening. Grandparents, cousins, my dad's sister, Victoria. They were all delighted. Victoria seemed particularly enthusiastic, asking detailed questions about the venue, the date, and even the specific package we'd selected. "How much was the deposit?" she asked during our 20-minute chat. "What's their cancellation policy? Do they need references or financial proof? Any insurance requirements?" I assumed she was just being meticulous, perhaps thinking of the venue for her daughter, Mia, someday. Victoria was a high-powered corporate lawyer specializing in contract law, always probing about legal details. I answered openly, too excited to suspect anything. In hindsight, I should have seen she was gathering intel. "The ceremony space holds 200 guests," I told her, "and the ballroom can seat 150 for dinner. We're expecting about 120 people. What time is your ceremony?" 4 o'clock, perfect for golden hour photos with cocktails on the terrace at sunset. She asked about catering, flowers, even the bridal suite I'd chosen. I shared everything, thrilled someone in the family cared so much about my plans. 2 weeks later, a call from Willowstone Hall shattered my world. "Miss Alvarez, there's been a terrible mistake," Mrs. Langley said, her voice trembling with regret. She sounded like she'd been crying. "We've accidentally double-booked September 15th. Another bride has the same date." My stomach plummeted. The room spun. "But I have a signed contract. I paid the deposit 2 weeks ago. You called me yourself." "Yes, but the other party also has a contract, and their deposit was much larger, $15,000 compared to your $5,000. We're prepared to refund you fully plus $500 for the inconvenience." $15,000? I gasped. "Who pays that much for a venue?" Mrs. Langley paused. "The other bride's mother is a lawyer. She claims we had a verbal agreement for that date months ago and is threatening to sue if we don't honor it. We can't afford a legal fight." "So you're breaking my contract to avoid a lawsuit from someone who's lying?" "I'm so sorry," she said. "This is unprecedented. We'll prioritize you for any future cancellations." I hung up, heartbroken. Ethan found me sobbing on our couch, still in my work clothes, mascara streaking my face. He held me for hours, stroking my hair, promising we'd find something even better. The next day, my mom called, her voice uneasy. "Sweetheart, I have something to tell you. Victoria's daughter, Mia, just got engaged." My blood froze. Mia was 24, had been with her boyfriend Lucas for only 8 months, and had never mentioned marriage before. "When?" "Last week, right after you told the family about your venue. And she booked Willowstone Hall for September 15th. The truth hit like a freight train. Victoria had grilled me for details, then manipulated the venue into giving her my date. She'd used the information I shared, the date, time, package, even the bridal suite, to claim she'd been planning Mia's wedding for months. Mom, that's impossible. Mia wasn't even engaged when I called Victoria. I know, she said. The family's buzzing about it. The timeline's suspicious. I called Mrs. Langley back, demanding answers. The other bride's mother insists they had a verbal agreement for September 15th from 6 months ago, she said defensively. She has proof. Venue visit photos, saved emails about pricing. Later, I learned Victoria had visited Willowstone Hall the day after our call, took pictures of Mia on the grounds, and faked emails using her legal expertise to create a false paper trail in 48 hours. She's lying, I told Mrs. Langley. Check your records. I've been calling for a year. I understand, but we have to protect ourselves legally. Ms. Hartwell is a prominent attorney. She's threatened to sue for breach of contract, discriminatory practices, and interference with business relations. We're a small family business. We can't fight that. That's when I realized Victoria had used her legal clout to intimidate a small business into betraying me. She'd made threats she likely couldn't substantiate, but Mrs. Langley didn't know that. At the family picnic that weekend, the atmosphere was tense. Everyone was cautious, glancing between Mia and me. My cousins sensed something was off, but avoided the topic. Victoria approached me by the dessert table, her voice dripping with false sympathy. I heard about your venue trouble, she said, avoiding my gaze. It's common in the wedding world. Maybe it's a sign you should go for something simpler. Not everyone needs a lavish event. Her patronizing tone infuriated me. She spoke as if I were a child denied a treat. Mia sauntered by in a $400 designer dress I'd glimpsed on Instagram, raving to our cousins about her sudden wedding plans. I've always dreamed of Willowstone, she lied blatantly. She'd never mentioned the venue before. Mommy made sure I got the perfect date. September 15th will be magical. She stressed the date, twisting the knife, ensuring I heard. Isn't that the date you wanted? My cousin Daniel asked naively. Mia shrugged. Great minds, I guess. But we booked first. That's when I decided to play the long game. Watching Mia revel in her stolen venue while Victoria smirked behind her wine glass, I vowed silently, this wasn't over. I smiled at Victoria. You're right. Everything happens for a reason. For 2 years, I waited patiently, like a strategist plotting a chess move. Ethan and I had a beautiful wedding at Ridgeview Farm, a charming rustic venue that fit our personalities better than the Grand Hall. The ceremony was in a meadow framed by mountains, intimate and heartfelt, costing half as much as Willowstone. But I never forgot Victoria's betrayal or her smug advice to settle for less. I monitored Mia's social media like a detective, analyzing every post. She was obsessed with appearances, constantly sharing her wedding fantasies, dream honeymoon spots, and three favorite dress designers. One location appeared repeatedly in her posts, dating back to her college days. Chateau Laurent, a castle-like estate 2 hours upstate, hosting only 12 weddings a year. It was the region's most exclusive venue, with a year-long wait list and a $30,000 base rental fee. Mia had posted about Chateau Laurent since she was 19, calling it her dream wedding venue in every caption. She'd drive there to snap Instagram photos by the gates, boasting about her future most exclusive wedding ever. She shared magazine clippings of celebrities who'd wed there, writing, "This will be me someday." The chateau embodied everything Mia craved: prestige, exclusivity, and envy. It was also financially out of her reach, but that never stopped her public dreaming. I shook my head. So what about me? Am I just supposed to vanish? Mom hesitated, then quietly admitted, "He's never seen it that way. You were always harder for him to understand? You didn't fit the mold he expected?" It hurt more than I expected. Meanwhile, Dad's messages grew more frequent and less subtle. He started texting me, reminding me of family obligations and the importance of supporting Clara publicly and privately. When I ignored them, he called multiple times a day, sometimes leaving voicemails dripping with veiled disappointment. He even sent a group email, copying extended family and close friends, questioning why I hadn't contributed to the party fund. I felt exposed and humiliated. The pressure wasn't just about money anymore, it was about upholding appearances. Dad wanted to project a perfect family image, on social media, at events, in every conversation, and I was the inconvenient truth he wanted to hide. I reached out to Clara again, hoping the will's revelation might change things. Instead, she sent a biting reply. "Dad's right about you, Elliot. You don't understand how hard this has been for him. For me. Maybe if you weren't so self-absorbed, you'd see that." It was as if she'd become the defender of the very thing hurting me most. It felt like betrayal, but I also realized she was trapped in her own way, clinging to the favor Dad had given her, no matter the cost. The party was less than a week away, and the family tension was unbearable. Dad grew more distant, cold in his texts, and Clara was consumed with party plans that excluded me entirely. I got a call from the event planner, copied by Dad, asking if I wanted to RSVP or send a gift. I declined. The planner seemed surprised but polite. Dad was clearly using every tool to pressure me into compliance, and I was holding my ground, but just barely. One night, lying awake, I thought about who I wanted to be in this. The son who desperately wanted to belong and be loved, or the man who refused to be sidelined, ignored, and controlled any longer. I made a choice. I was going to confront this head-on, not just for me, but to expose the toxic, unfair dynamic. Doing so would risk everything: family gatherings, relationships, even my peace of mind. The days before the party dragged on. Every phone notification made me jump. I knew Dad was watching, waiting for me to cave, send the money, and fall back into my role as the obedient son who funded Clara's spotlight. But I didn't. Instead, I started planning quietly. I began by gathering more evidence, not just the will, but all of Dad's financial records, hidden transfers, receipts for extravagant gifts, even payments to a company registered in Clara's name but controlled by Dad. It's where celebrities wed. My cousin Daniel, clueless, jumped in. Didn't you guys take Elena's dream venue a few years back? Maybe Elena could help Mia with her venue contacts. The table froze. Victoria's face flashed with fury. That was different, she snapped. A legitimate scheduling conflict resolved legally. Daniel pressed on. But wasn't Elena there first? She called us about Willowstone months before Mia got engaged. My uncle tried to redirect, but Daniel kept going. The timeline was weird, right? Elena told us about her venue, then 2 weeks later, Mia's engaged and has the same date? I spoke up, voice sugary. It's fine, Daniel. Our farm wedding was perfect. The universe works things out. Victoria looked ready to explode. After dinner, she cornered me in the kitchen, her lawyer facade on. I know what you're doing, she hissed. What? I asked innocently, drying dishes. You booked the chateau to spite Mia. You threatened to sue my venue to steal my date, I shot back. You used your law degree to bully a small business and faked a paper trail to make it look like Mia booked first. Then you told me to settle for less because I wasn't worth a grand wedding. Her jaw dropped, speechless. That was business, she stammered. Venues double book all the time. We protected Mia's interests. And I protected mine, I said sweetly. I saved for 2 years for my dream venue. Like you taught me, sometimes you pay more to win. You're not even using it. Maybe Ethan and I want a vow renewal. Maybe I'll auction it for charity. My contract doesn't require me to explain myself. The truth was, I hadn't decided yet. Part of me wanted a lavish vow renewal to rub it in. Part wanted to sell the booking to ensure Mia couldn't have it. But as Victoria's face reddened, a better idea formed. You can't keep it just to hurt Mia. Why not? You kept my venue to help her. Fair's fair. You're hurting an innocent girl. I laughed. Innocent? Mia knew what you did. She gloated about my venue at the picnic, stressing the date to hurt me. She's not innocent. She's complicit. Victoria was silent, likely weighing if she could intimidate me like Mrs. Langley. What do you want? She asked. Nothing you can give, I said. You can't undo stealing my dream venue or the heartbreak you caused. This is about consequences. So you'll ruin Mia's wedding to prove a point? I'll let her feel what you made me feel. Disappointment, scrambling, dreams crushed by someone with more money and power. Maybe she'll learn empathy. She's learned her lesson. Has she? Her posts show she's playing the victim, not owning her actions. I hung up the dish towel. You taught me the world belongs to those who do whatever it takes. Money and connections let you take what's not yours. Winning's all that matters. Thanks for the lesson. 2 weeks later, I called the chateau's coordinator. I need to discuss my September 22nd booking. Of course. How can I assist? I had a change of heart. Ethan and I eloped in Vegas last month. Spontaneous, romantic, but I don't want the venue to go to waste. That's unexpected. What do you want to do? I'd like to transfer it to a charity auction for the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia's Pediatric Cancer Research Fund. She was overjoyed. It was a first, but they were eager to help. The hospital could auction the venue, with the winner getting a chateau wedding at a fraction of the cost. This is so generous, she said. The hospital will be thrilled. Just ensure the auction's well publicized, I said. I want everyone to know. When the auction launched, I ensured Mia saw it via my fake Instagram, posting, had to cancel my chateau wedding after a surprise elopement. So happy it's helping sick kids instead. Hope a lucky couple gets their dream day while supporting a great cause. Chateau Laurent charity, auction pediatric cancer dreams come true. I used hashtags Mia followed. She commented instantly. Wait, can people bid? What's the starting bid? $10,000, but it could go higher, I replied. Amazing chance for someone. Mia's posts showed her scrambling, starting a GoFundMe, begging family for loans, selling her designer bags, even considering a second job. The auction went viral, boosted by the story of a bride donating her venue for kids with cancer. 5 couples bid fiercely, driving the price up. Mia's username appeared in the bidding history but vanished as the cost outstripped her budget. Her posts grew desperate. It's at $15,000 and I'm maxed out, she cried in a car video. My dream venue's slipping away again. So unfair. Her followers weren't kind. It's for charity, girl, one wrote. Stop whining. You've complained about venues forever, another said. Maybe appreciate what you have. A stranger commented, your mad kids with cancer are getting help? My cousin Sarah's comment hit hardest. Didn't you take Elena's venue 2 years ago? This is karma. Mia's defensive reply. That was different. We had a legit claim, sparked backlash. People questioned how stealing a venue was legit. She deleted the post. The auction ran 2 weeks. Mia's hope turned to despair, then bitter acceptance. I don't get why the universe keeps blocking my dream wedding, she posted. I'm a good person. I deserve this. The final bids came from a young Philadelphia couple and an older pair renewing their vows. The price hit $28,000, nearly double the hospital's goal. Mia's last story showed her sobbing. My dream venue went to charity instead of me. I know it's a good cause, but this was my wedding. I've planned this since college. Why does everything I want go to someone else? Her followers tore her apart for selfishness. You're upset about kids getting cancer treatment? One wrote. Your priorities are messed up, another added. Daniel sealed it. You took Elena's venue, now you're mad someone got yours? See the irony?